we have to be very careful how we talk to ourselves,
Yes.
about ourselves, and about our goals. And I know that seems all like, whatever, but it really is valuable, empowering how you think about your success, how you think about your ability to be successful. And if you don't have what you need yet, even just being open minded to like, hey, I'm worthy of this, right? I can achieve the same thing as this person, that person. They've done it, them doing it. That's another thing I've really been trying to preach to people, is that somebody else's success doesn't limit your ability to be successful. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't limit you at all. If anything, it should make you more apt to believe, like, you know,
Welcome everybody back to another exciting show of the About That Wallet podcast, where we help you build strong financial behaviors. And today I have a wonderful guest who has been shown over and over again and actually willing to teach you and take you to that next level when it comes to your behaviors within finances, within your fitness, and also just the overall mindset. And his name is Darius from the King Bear. So how you doing today, Darius?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
No problem. So one of the cool things I love about your content is that you actually focus on the mindset. Can you kind of explain to everybody, like, what is it about the mind that someone can change their whole lifestyle?
Yeah, so mindset, I know it's cliche, but it's real. Mindset is everything. And your mindset, I'm an IT nerd, so imagine your computer, right? You have the brains, the motherboard of the computer, right? Sometimes it's the smallest piece or seemingly the least powerful, component, but it's actually the most powerful piece within the computer. So the same thing is for people in how we walk our daily lives, right? Our mindset controls our daily habits. Our daily habits, I truly believe, our daily habits lead to what we produce in life, right? So anytime you have a goal or something you're trying to achieve, you actually want to walk and look like that goal before you actually achieve the goal. And that starts in how your mindset, perspective is everything. If you have a optimistic mindset towards situations in life, overcoming challenges, your outlook on your ability to be successful, how you think and speak to yourself, that's tremendous power in allowing you to progress forward and accomplish great things. And on the adverse, and if your mindset is not right, you could be easily swayed. You could feel static, lethargic, and just not really progress. So the mindset is a huge power piece in what and how we do. I mean, it controls everything that we do. So you got to set it up the right way. And that translates into everything else you do, from a fitness, business, family, relationships. Everything starts with the core, and that's your mindset.
Nice. So who planted that seed in you to kind of say, you know what, I see something in you. Let me just give you this little nugget.
I mean, I've been blessed with mentors all throughout my life. I mean, my parents, for one, my grandparents, and then other mentors I've had, whether it be business or just family mentors. And I think it's just a combination of them sowing seeds into me, to not necessarily put something in me, right, that wasn't there, but more so to try to bring out, the talents and gifts and things that I've been blessed to have. And I will say, my dad always says, hey, son, you could do anything that you put your mind to. And I know that's a cliche movie line, but, there's nothing like a mentor or somebody you look up to that you trust, that has your genuine interest at mind, instilling that confidence in you, because mindset really is the huge piece of that, is confidence, and how much confidence a person has, how they think about themselves or their ability to do something has a tremendous effect on what they actually do. And I think hearing that reinforcement from people, seeing them actually walk the journey as well, that's what's, pushing me forward.
Now, does representation matter in that? Meaning like seeing somebody like you doing such things, or is it just kind of, it doesn't matter, you just learn from everybody?
I think it's twofold, right? And I know we always like either or both, right? I think it's both. I think for us in our community, for one, it is huge for us to see representation, right? Because there's an automatic relation there. Hey, if Darius was able to eliminate debt. He looks like me. He walks like me. He talks like me. Kind of comes from a similar background. It's like, man, like I can believe that, because some people really are, seeing is believing, and they can hear it from someone else that doesn't look like them or that wasn't brought up like them. It's like the excuses come, right? You had this, or you probably had this. You don't know my situation, but it's nothing like somebody that's like, hey, man, we're really mirrors of each other. I've been able to accomplish this. I know you can, right? And I feel like people kind of gravitate a little bit more to that. So,
yeah, because can you talk about it, your vending machine business? Because that's
yeah.
the things that a lot of people see them all the time. We use them, and as far as just seeing somebody, like you said, in our community to actually do something like this, can you just talk about how did you get into it?
Yeah. So honestly, man, I've always been a big budget guy. I've always been a big smart money management guy. That's actually what allowed me to be successful in, my debt-free journey. I was able to accomplish debt freedom in 2020. And so from there, transitioning, that was a whole mindset in itself, right? Yeah. And I give backdrop because it matters, right? So I went from, eliminating debt, eliminating student loans, that kind of thing, to then saving, trying to build up for myself, right? But then starting to learn and have the revelation that, okay, I can keep stacking, but like I'm trying to grow forward, right? Mm-hmm. And so outside of other business things and things I've been blessed to do, I started to look at what are some strategic, low risk, low entry investment opportunities that I can do, right? So vending wasn't something that I was like, man, this is my dream. I've been thinking about this for 3 years. No, I was around representation that were investing in other things, buying small businesses. I've seen my brothers, I've seen people that, like you said, look like me, that are surrounded by the same community doing these things. And I'm like, let me find a little niche of my own, right? Just look at that. It's just like, sometimes it's a positive and being like, man, I don't want to be left out. Like there's got to be like, especially if I'm getting to the bag. So honestly, mindset, it goes back to mindset as well, is vending for me actually was a mindset move. It was a test and challenge to myself to pull the trigger on investing, right? Because once you come out of a conservation type of journey, then a saving type of journey, there's another step in the mind that you have to shift to be able to say, okay, now I'm going to put something into something with the risk that it may fail, but with also the opportunity that it may boom as well. So vending honestly wasn't necessarily a money move for me. It was a mental block move. I wanted to get over that hump of pulling the trigger to invest, right? And so it was just, I had a couple of different options I was looking into, and I started assessing it. And then again, I found a mentor who was already successful in that space. Anytime I jump into something new, I say, hey, I'm dumb. I'm a student. I don't know anything. Is there anybody who's an expert in this field that doesn't mind giving me some game? Right. And honestly,
did you pay for it, or was this like a free one?
Listen, ask and the door shall open. Look, I'll be real. I actually posted it on Facebook and I deleted it. I said, hey, looking to get into vending. Is there anyone, I'm looking for a mentor for vending. And I was like, that was pride kicking in. Nah, you don't need nobody. You can Google and figure it out yourself. Don't let nobody know what you're doing. Yada, yada, yada. Right. Yeah. That's that mindset shift. Now, if my mind would have just said, nope, stay right there. I was like, no, you know what? That's my whole point. I'm putting myself out there. And yeah, man, basically one of my old youth pastors, actually, I found out, I had no clue, was in full-time vending for 18 years and was very successful.
Wow.
So he pretty much honestly walked me through everything. He was like, send me deals that you're assessing. I'll help you assess them. And he was like, a big cheerleader kind of for me in that process. And look, I had no clue that's what he did, and so big shout outs to him. But, that's how I started. I still had to go through my challenges and learn the experience. You still have to walk the journey. I don't care how great your mentor is. You got to walk your own journey. But that was a huge factor in my ability to start out being successful,
Yeah. Can you tell us a story about when you got your first deal?
Yeah. So, man, dude, my first deal was sweet because I was actually on vacation, which I don't take often. I never forget, I was in Tulum. I took a solo trip in Tulum. There you go. Another mindset thing. I wanted to challenge myself to, so now I'm addicted to traveling solo. And, I had been looking, and I went through 90 days of no's, meaning, you're cold calling, you're pulling up, you're speaking to people, you're doing the groundwork, right? It doesn't happen overnight, as they always say, right? I remember I was like, I'm going to commit to, I think it was after 30 days, I was, but then it was a 60-day stint. I was like, nope, every day I'm going to a business, I'm calling a business, I'm asking the business, I'm sending an email. And oftentimes it was 5 to 10 a day. And I was getting, not necessarily, no, we're not, but, I was learning the process. And so, man, I actually was scrolling on Facebook Marketplace before I left to go to Tulum, and ended up meeting a guy. And it was so sweet because instead of, most people just try to find a location, or people just try to find a vending machine, I was actually able to acquire the already operating location with the machines in the deal. And actually I got 2 locations for the price of 1. So I started with 6 machines, and also providing convenient services alongside that to one of the dealerships that I started. So my first deal was sweet, man. But like I said, it took that groundwork to get there. And man, that actually catapulted the business into vending. Man, the ROI after I invested in that, and then the other locations, it was a blessing. It was dope.
All right, so my audience is very analytical. So
yeah, sure.
Can you talk a little bit about the numbers? Like, what was the entry?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So my first, no, great question. My first deal, I paid $3,200 for 2 locations. So this included 1 500 drink capacity machine, a full snack machine, 2 industrial coffee makers, because it was a dealership that I was providing services to. And what they did was they bought coffee products, and the dealership would write a check at a markup alongside the profits I collected from. Yes. So that's one location in this deal, right? Yeah. And then the other one was a smaller bank, which had a small snack machine and like a 6 select drink machine. And that one is precious as well, because it didn't perform well at first, but it actually was my business card to actually land 4 of those other major bank chains in the area. Wow. So I'll get to that too. But I started with $3,200, just starting out. My ROI in 6 months was over 180%, for 180% return. So I think it was about 15K. Y'all don't quote me on the numbers. I have them though. I got my stuff listed out for receipts, but I think it turned out to be about 15K after everything. And there's a lot of other things that go into that. Like I actually grew multiple locations after just starting that location. But most of the times now, machines now are going for 2,000, 2,500, used, and then you don't even have the location yet. So location is the key gem first.
Okay, so for the people wanting to look into this, they need to make sure that they first get a location before they go purchase the machine.
Free gem, location first, because here's 3 reasons why. 1, I've seen it happen. Your machine may not fit in the door of the location you finally get. So now you have a liability that's not making you any money because you just wanted to go get a machine. Okay. Number 2, the business might not like the aesthetics of the machine that you have. So they're not obligated to accept, unless you guys discuss it up front. They're going to ask what kind of machine is in it. If it doesn't aesthetically fit the environment, there's going to be an easy no. You want to eliminate the many abilities for them to say no. And then, and like I said, number 3, it might not serve the capacity for the location you get. You get a 6 select drink machine for a warehouse that has 500 employees. You're going to be running, you see what I'm saying? Like, and it seems so practical, but when you really think about it, that's huge. Or if you get a machine that only does snacks, but you got a location that wants drinks and snacks, right? Now you got to get another machine anyway. So why not just solidify the machine? You can get them a 3-week lead. You can find a machine tomorrow. You really can. And I know that's a little exaggerative, but you really can. You can find a decent machine and everything, but they don't need to know. They don't need to know that you don't even have a machine yet, or even if you do have one yet, you lock down a location, you give them a date that you're going to deliver and set up, and give yourself some lead time. Say, hey, it'll take us 3 weeks to get everything set up. We'll deliver, etc. I'm giving gems here, and
Right.
and then you kind of go from there. So most of my situations that I started a fresh location with, that's how it was. I gave them a lead time. I knew what machines I was going to get, but I didn't even have the machine yet. Locked down the location. All they know is the date that I gave them. Machines delivered. They're in service.
That is awesome. Because I was thinking about getting into the vending machine business because it's like, I think there is a vending machine warehouse near me. And I was like, will it be best for me to go there, take pictures of the ones that they have, put them in the book when I go to talk to people like, hey, we got different machines available. You just got to give us some time to get them set up, make sure we can fit them in the space or whatever. I'm just going on that whole.
No, that's an excellent thought because that's what my book was. And I got mine off Google. Oh, nice. I didn't even go take pictures. I just got different types of machines, combo, select vend, dual machines, and I just, that way I gave them an idea.
Right.
So you give them an idea. Yeah. If you don't show up with the exact machine, you've already pitched the idea. There's an understanding there. Right. And then most people, they don't really care what it looks like, as long as it's clean, well taken care of, and it does the job. Right. So I had my pamphlet. My deliverable was 3 pages. First page was business name, about the business, my mission, why my services are quality. 4 pages. Second page, back and front, was types of snacks. You have lifestyle, you have healthy, you have etc. Right? Types of drinks. And then the third page was like types of machines so that people can get it. Because they're always gonna ask, like, okay, so what type of machine you gonna put in here, right? Type of machine, kind of what their specialty was. And then the 4th page was just an example of the agreement that we will have. And then I would have copies of, ready agreements available in case we need to do something right there on the spot. That's all I had. People aren't trying to scroll through a book and they really just want to see. It was more pictures and color than words, because people aren't really about to read a paragraph while you're sitting right there. They just, it kind of buffers the content and adds to the conversation because you are marketing the services. And so, no, that was huge, man. So
that is awesome. All right. So you guys who listen to this right now, it means that you can go out there and start doing it. But I believe you also offer a course on this. So
yes, I do. Yep. King Bear 100. The O's are the number in that. So on the kingbear100.com site, maybe he'll drop it down in the comments, but kingbear100.com, you can get the Vending 101 course. It's a live course. I'm teaching it to you just like we're talking right now, and you'll get the content, slides and everything along with it. And it literally teaches you how to start a strategic business from the ground up in vending. Okay. So it answers, I typically say 99% of your initial questions on how to get started that you're searching on Google for, that you're trying to pull different sources from. I packaged it all up for you. Easy to understand, easy to follow. And literally, if you follow the blueprint, you could be up and running in no time.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that I saw that you had that was intriguing me about, you had the top 3 money habits. Can you talk about those a little bit?
The top 3 money habits. Yeah. So, I mean, and it can be it depends on who, it could be personal to you, but, for me, the biggest thing is you have to be able to strategically manage your money, right? You have to play offense. You have to play offense by playing defense. So manage your main source of money. That's one of my keys. Number 2 is going to be able to leverage your finances and your value. All right. And then number 3 is investing for your wealth to grow forward. Right. And so I don't know if those are the 3 you're talking about, because I got different 3
pockets. You have different 3s, right?
Okay. What's the 3s you got?
The 3 that you put on there, you had, like, first you said, have a plan.
Yes.
Save more than you spend, and then invest the rest.
So I just said it a different way. So what I'm trying to say was managing, have a plan, have a budget. You got to have a budget. Okay. If you don't have a budget for your personal finances, how you think you're going to run a business? Yep. Right. So have a budget. You're still spot on. It's just different word. And have a budget. It's the same thing as have a plan, because your budget is your money map. Your budget is your financial map. Your plan about how you're going to manage, and it tells you where you are and where you're going to go. Right. And then number two, I think it's talked about leveraging and saving, right? Talked about being a good steward over that, because obviously we want to get the bag, but the key is to hold on to as much of the bag as you can, right? So strategic saving, eliminating those emergency situations that might put a pit into your financial bucket. And then number three, investing forward for generational wealth, investing forward for just wealth building in general. Because we talk about generational wealth, but we want to enjoy our wealth as well while we're on this earth also. So, yep.
Definitely. See, you know your stuff, man. You know, I mean, because that's one of the cool things I love about the show. It's like everybody has a different approach to finances, but it's still to reach the same end goal, which is accomplishing all the things that they want to accomplish.
That's it.
I mean, it's that simple, and just walking.
And that's different for everyone, you know. That's different and that's fine, right? You know, your financial journey is not mine, and likewise, but your goals aren't, and your goals really determine what your journey is going to look like.
Yeah. One of the things that you mentioned earlier, which was that you was able to get debt free in 2020. What was that last day look like for you?
Man, I think I set some stuff on fire that day. Literally, I think I have pictures in my post on that, and I think Anthony O'Neill, who used to be with the Dave Ramsey crew, I think he's still on his page, but I think I lit some stuff on fire that day. But man, it was a blessing. I really started, just to keep it 100, I started my true focus, debt-free journey, probably like 2012. After I graduated college, I started getting into the corporate world, and I was like, I was paying about $600 a month out of my income at that time. I was probably making at that time like $42,000 coming out of college, starting my IT career. And I was paying $600 a month. And not credit card debt, not bad debt, I should say, but student loan debt. I was like, dude, this ain't it. I think about it after a year in, I was like, do you know what I can do? And still to this day, sometimes I'm like, do you know what I could have been doing with $600 a month? And I wasn't even thinking about investing in. Really, I was doing kind of the paycheck to paycheck. But that 2012, I don't know what happened, but I sat down at my desk and I said, we got to make a change. And I remember creating my first budget, and I still have an iteration of that budget that I use till this day. Obviously, it's grown into its own beast, right? It was one tab before. It's like 14 tabs now, but it's again, I keep driving at home. You have to take inventory. And that last day was sweet because it just summed up all those times where I may have sacrificed. I saw friends, I saw people going on trips, doing different things, whether they had the money to do it or not, but they were living the life now that they wanted, right? And I remember times where I was even getting bonuses for my job, or, I had started the fitness entity at that time. I literally used my side businesses that actually turned out to actually grow into, real businesses to fuel that, right? Because I was like, I gotta have other income sources. So I remember getting paid. I'm talking about getting checks, getting money from training, right? And I wouldn't use any of it. It would all go towards my debt. So obviously over the years, that number got exponentially smaller because I started to knock things down. But in 2020 was basically, that last. So Sally Mae, which became Navient, right? Holla at your boy. Hey, Mr. Godwin, is everything okay? Are you sure? Oh no, everything's great. I'm gonna holler at y'all. I need to know what's the payoff number for. Nope, I don't want nothing left. So that day was really exhilarating because not only an accomplishment for me to say, "Oh, debt free, I got done," but it was for me to kind of set the tone for my family, for me to also have the opportunity to use that experience and that journey to empower others to, one, say, hey guys, hey, I look like you, if I can do it, you can too. And also I can show you how quicker than I did. You know what I'm saying? So man, that day was huge.
That was awesome, man. Congrats on that. Thanks. Because it's a big journey. Because I just started mine, and my goal is to have all my stuff paid off by 2024. So that's my goal. Mainly student loans. Yeah, everything else is just sitting around. Yeah, it's straight student loans now. It's great.
You'll get it. Like I said, I had the car paid off, had the credit cards down. I never really had like multiple credit cards then. I really only had like one that I was growing from college at the time. And, it was just, like I said, it was just that was a big shift for me is what I'm trying to say. So I'm glad you asked that question because that shifted because then I had to go through a post debt free frugality mentality mindset change. Right.
Talk about that.
And so that's what I'm talking about too. What led me to challenge myself to start investing in different things. Right. So of course I was investing in other things before vending and real estate and different things like that. But to truly say, hey, I'm about to take this stack and put it in something, because you're so used to like that money coming in is going out to somebody else. That money coming in is going. So then when you start, I done eliminated them and that money coming in too, you like, oh yeah, this is nice, right? But then your mind's like, so I had the principle that I was always taught was, when you're investing, the money leaves your hand, but never leaves your life. Right. Mm-hmm. And I know I think that's a faith-based principle as well, but it's a practical principle. When you sow into something, yes, there's a risk that you may lose it all, but the probability of the return is typically a lot greater. So that mind shift took a little bit. And you the only way you get through that mind shift, going from a frugality mindset and mentality to an investing forward mentality, is by action. You don't do it necessarily by reading a book. You don't do it by, it's great to listen to us and empower you. And I hope you're getting something from this. But until you pull the trigger, until you put that money out, right, until you invest, that's when your mindset starts to shift. And that was the biggest hurdle that I got over. But once I did that, man, vending changed the game for me big time, right? Because after that, I'm like, what else can I invest in? Like, what else? And even just that eagerness, right? Not a false expectation that everything's gonna hit. I mean, what hits in 6 months 180% ROI of thousands of bucks, right? I mean, not very many things, not even stocks typically, return like that. So I get it. Everything's not going to be 200% ROI, but even if it's 50, even if it's 30, that adds up over time, right? And so it took just pulling that trigger. So
now, because one of the things that we talked about a lot in this episode so far is the return on investment. Mm-hmm. Now, as a fitness guy, you can sit here and do 10 push-ups. Cool. What is your return on investment on that? Maybe like the next 10 minutes. That's all you got.
I feel good. Yeah,
Right. But when it comes to finances, that return on investment of, like how you said, something that you did in one day, you still use to today in your spreadsheet. And just taking that 30 minutes of diving into your finances had changed your whole trajectory to the point now you actually got multiple businesses.
Yes.
And your fitness is a lot better. So focusing on one area that actually spreads out to everything else.
That's correct.
I mean, the return on investment has been one of the things that I don't think many people really talk about, is the financial return on investment versus the physical return on investment, and like how to change your mindset around all of it. So one thing is like, because obviously you're a fitness guy and you got a cool katana in the back. Would you mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can. I don't want to take you from where you're going though, because I can go, man. Yeah. But so being a sports athlete, wasn't playing sports anymore in corporate. I started training basically sports performance. So I started my business at the time. It was called SPAC Sports Performance. It's called King Bear Fitness now, and I was basically training youth to professional athletes. Sports performance training, teaching them how to get stronger, faster, bigger, whatever, right? So it's always been computers and IT for me, or computers and sports for me, right? Those are two non-negotiables. I gotta be doing both of those. Those are my pillars, right? So I was like, okay, I'm not competing in sports anymore, right? Rec league stuff is okay. I gotta do something that's gonna really challenge me, but also I can be a poster for people that I'm trying to motivate, i.e. my clients, my family, that type of thing, right? So I got into natural bodybuilding. And so that's where the katanas and stuff came from, is accomplishments in my natural bodybuilding competitions. And that process is a whole nother mind shift in itself, because I'm naturally disciplined and regimented, but the discipline focus, I love that, right? And it reminds me of the discipline focus, the sacrifice, not being able to eat certain things, having to be consistently consistent to really get progress. It's the same thing in your finances and your budget. If I would have just sat down on that budget 30 minutes and didn't check it for another 6 months, there's really no progress. If I didn't forego going out or eating out, getting groceries instead to meal prep so that I could save money on groceries so that I could actually have, see how that similarity. So I just, like you said, it just flowed to something else. But that's where I got those from. So I'm competing on the pro stage this year in the OCB. And so, it's been a great opportunity to be able to, go through that process. So just all about challenging the mindset, challenging the mind, and adjusting and adapting.
Awesome. All right, so I want to jump on over to one of the third segments on the show, which is talking about the future. So coming up with your business, I mean, you obviously got the fitness down pack. You got the vending machines going. So what is the next venture for you within the next 2 years that you see that's coming up?
Yeah, so right now, my big thing is I'm still leveraging I just did a thing the other day, not so long ago. I was talking about, continuing to leverage your corporate or your main source to fuel your passions, to fuel your visions, meaning to fuel your businesses that you're doing, right? And so as you continue to excel in there, you'll be surprised how much you excel in other businesses you're doing. Also, having more disposable, consistent, reliable income lowers stress and allows you to make wiser strategic decisions, not just for tomorrow, but down the road. And the reason why I'm saying that is because now that I've had the ability to compound all of those actions today, where I'm trying to go now is I'm looking to try to do things more efficiently with less of my time, right? To really grind and get to the debt freedom journey and stuff, it was a lot of trading my time for money, right? You know what I mean? It was a lot of, that also kept me from spending money too, right? Yeah. But it was a lot of that. And so now I'm like, hey, no. Now it's time for me to start trying to enjoy life. So what decisions can I make financially and investing wise that are going to allow me to enjoy life more freely, right? And so in a roundabout way, what I'm getting to is small business acquisitions. Boring businesses is something that I've been really intrigued into, like a vending business, laundromats, things that are considered boring businesses. So those are what I'm getting into is now I want to acquire already operating businesses. I don't want to have to like build something from the ground up anymore. I don't have to, right? I can now. I'm blessed to have the ability to have the capital, which is what most businesses need to thrive, right? So I can put a percentage of capital, or I could just buy the business altogether that's already operating, improve the operating efficiencies, and get the return out of it, right? So that's where I hope I'm like still on track here, but like
you on track, man. That's good. Yeah.
That's where I'm going because I want passions and investments to force me to say, hey, you know what, IT, I gotta go because I'm actually losing money by keeping a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? That's my goal. And if I'm doing that, guess what? I'm also in control of then. I'm in control of my time now, right? And God knows what my mind's already there, but God knows what my mind's going to be when I really have to. Can you imagine waking up? I imagine waking up and being like, okay, I know I have some structure to my day, but like, I really don't have to report to anybody today. Like, what am I going to do?
Right.
So that's like, I say that's like big goal, but honestly, it's more attainable than you think, but it's going to take the strategic steps that I'm doing. So right now I'm trying to get into more what you call venture, small business and venture capitalism. I'm really intrigued in those small, boring businesses. Like I really want a laundromat. I really do. Something like that. That stuff aren't going away. They're easy to manage and they can be cash cows.
Yeah. So collect money. Like, all right, the machine broke. What? Call the dude, go fix it. Like,
and some people just, and some people just go, and depending on what area you're in, let's just be real, like depending on what area you're in, that's all they may have, right? I know nice apartment complexes that actually don't have, unless they have it in their, unless they rent it from the thing. Some people don't like to do that. Some people are going to go to the laundromat, right? Or the other thing with laundromat service, and I don't mind giving game because people find it, but like people love convenience, right? Just
Yeah.
like, so vending started me on this convenience services mindset.
Mm.
And so the thing with the big money in laundromats is not just the laundromat service, but the laundry service. People
Yes.
pay for you to wash, fold their clothes, pick them up, deliver them. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Convenience. So if you can find boring businesses that provide service convenience, whether people like to do them or not, right? People will pay for it. And the more and more I find out about stuff that people will actually pay for, my mind is blown. And I'm like, I have to own that service. I have to, you know. I wash my own clothes, like, and there's nothing wrong with it if you don't. But I know there's people like, I don't care what part of my budget I gotta do. I ain't washing my clothes. I'm paying for that. And I'm like, cool. Well, let me supply something that can satisfy that need. So,
well, along those lines, because that's one of the things, I can cut the grass, but like right now, I could have somebody out there cutting the grass for me while I'm doing the interview, and I knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. That's it.
And your interview will, I'm claiming this, and your interviews will be incurring revenue.
There you go. Yeah.
So
I like it. Because like these 2 years, and I have to tell you statistically, so far, I would say 80% of my guests who actually told me what they're going to plan on doing within the next 2 years actually accomplish it within the next 6 months.
I'll take that.
Yeah, 6-8 months, they usually accomplish it. Because I would say, perfect example, one lady came on the show. She said that she want to work remotely in a whole nother country. And within 2 months, she was booking the flight.
That's amazing.
Approved. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. So, and that's just one example. So I truly would like to see you accomplish that. Definitely will be following you through this whole process, because I was like, man, he was just on the show talking about it. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Look, no pressure. I'll take that pressure. No, I love to hear that, man. And that's again, I love that you said that, because that goes back to the first question you asked me, which was about mindset, right?
Yeah.
And those people, or that young lady, she would have never been able to do that if she didn't believe up here first that it was possible. Not even that it was possible in 2 months, just starting out first. Like, if she was like, nah, there's no way I'm going to be able to work remotely. How's she going to get there? But by her, you guys talking about it, you asking about it, she's speaking it. Even if she didn't believe it, she's speaking it. So it's like, yo, this is something, I'm putting it out there, right? And now look, it happened. So that just shows the power of your mindset. Because if she would have been like, nah, I'd like to do work from home, but I don't think it's really possible. Right. I doubt she would have did it in 2 or 6 months.
Well, it's not just possible for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like how they say
that's true.
Oh, well, it's nice for them. It's okay for that person. Oh, they had this different situation. My situation is a little differently. But I'm like, well, you didn't even ask the question to say, like, can I actually do it? Like, outright to yourself.
Right.
Oh, man. We can go. That's a whole nother episode.
No, I'm like, I shut up and I'll let you go, because you was right where you need to be. But I totally agree. I love how you talk about just that representation, and a representation for yourself. And like you said, not making those excuses, but like you said, we have to be very careful how we talk to ourselves, about ourselves and about our goals. And I know that seems all like, you know, whatever, but it really is valuable, empowering how you think about your success, how you think about your ability to be successful. And if you don't have what you need yet, even just being open-minded to like, hey, I'm worthy of this, right? I can achieve the same thing as this person, that person. You know, they've done it. Them doing it. That's another thing I've really been trying to preach to people, is that somebody else's success doesn't limit your ability to be successful. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't limit you at all. If anything, it should make you more apt to believe, like, you know, so okay, yeah, I definitely can, you know? So, yeah, it's a powerful mindset.
So, because we're on this, before I get to the last segment, is when it comes to fitness, right? And for the people that don't see themselves as a fit person, or they come to you as a big person, like, hey, you know, I've been trying all these different things, and they come into you and it's like, hey, what is the one, like, they actually like, what is the one thing that I can do right now to kind of get me, you know, started or whatever, or something. And then what is it that you actually tell them?
So typically, I already asked them what their habits are daily, right? And then we pick one thing to, I don't want to say change, because change can be a trigger word for a lot of people. We pick one thing to improve. Okay. So if they say, hey, I'm feeling healthy. I know I'm not really healthy, but I'm also not really doing anything about it. It's like, okay, how much do you move a day? Not much. Okay. So let's improve that not much to a little bit more than you used to. Right. And so sometimes it's just, a lot of times just getting them to be consistent with being less sedentary. Right. And so that it starts with habits, period. Okay. It starts with habits. Anybody can meal prep for one day. Anybody can go to the gym for one day. Right. But it starts with developing the habit. So instead of saying you need to go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, you need to do 45. Look, you see how you like, well, like, no, it's like, hey, can you take a 15-minute walk 3 times this week? And we're going to pick the day and the times that you're going to do it. And typically we're going to try to do it at the same time on each of those days. Right? It's like 15 minutes. What's that going to do? 15 minutes. Listen, 15 minutes times 3 is 45 minutes. That's 45 minutes more than what you have been doing, sir, man. Right? But that exponentially adds up, because then you times that by 2 weeks, by a month. Right? And eventually that 15 minutes is not going to just be 15 minutes, because typically if you get people moving, you get people walking, they'll a lot of times go 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Right? But it's just getting them started. Same thing with the eating. Okay. It's like, hey, what does your nutritional habits look like right now? Let's take a look at your meals for the day. And sometimes not, actually, a lot of times just having people write down what they eat in one full day will change. It'll improve their habits, because one, they have to write it down. But two, once they take a log of it and they look at it, it's like, oh, either I'm not eating enough, or typically it's like, yeah, I'm eating a good bit. So I always start people with where they are, and we adjust small things to improve where they need to be. So if you right now are a little more sedentary than you need to be, you don't feel fitness, you don't feel healthy, start by just starting to take a walk every day. If you want to go to the gym, start by going to the gym. Don't feel like you got to go to the gym 7 days a week. Pick 2 days. Start out with 2 days a week to go to the gym. Right?
Right.
What's that?
You get those free passes.
Free passes. Maybe it's a let me try a new gym for the next 4 weeks to find out where I feel like I fit at.
Okay. I got you.
Very easy to do that. I'm sure there's more than I have like 4 gym memberships. So I know there's more than like 4 gyms around where people are, but seriously, you don't need to pay also to get started. Right. You literally can put your shoes on, get up, put your shoes on, walk outside, especially if the weather is nice. Maybe it's a good opportunity also for you to detox your mind, for you to think about some things, for you to get some fresh air, right? So I always tell people to get moving first. If you're not, and then if you are moving, but you feel like you're not really progressing like you need to be, take one day and write down everything that you consume and then review it at the end of the day. And you'll already see, without being a nutritionist, having any type of accountability, you'll see what you need to either cut back on, adjust, substitute, or cut out altogether. So,
man, that is deep right there. That's pretty much the whole show. Because we all on our individual journey is just how to, like you said, is how we talk to ourselves and how we talk about our goals. That really sets the tone on how you actually improve your life.
Yes. Yeah. Change. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I get it, right? It's like, oh, you ain't trying. So it's like, hey, let's not change who you are. We're always work in progress, right? We're not perfect, but we're perfecting or attempting to. So let's just improve who you are right now, which eventually will change you into something new and better. But, even that wording, again, that's how you talk to yourself. As soon as you tell yourself, I need to change how I do. Now you're talking, you mad at yourself. Like, I don't need to change that. I know who I am. It's like, hey, man, why don't you think about improving the way you think about this situation? Yeah. Okay. How can I get better at it?
Right.
So.
Man. All right.
I hope I'm helping.
This is going to have a lot of people, honestly, to get their mindsets together, and also in changing the language that they have when they're talking about their kids, when they're talking to their spouse. Like, hey, I don't like the way that you're actually leaving this room messy. How can we improve the less messiness or something like that?
Right.
Just
No,
using
wording is huge, but all that comes from the mind, right? If your trigger is always clean this mess up, you're always doing dirty stuff. Like, even though you might be right,
right.
you could be right as you want, but your delivery and approach creates a defensive mechanism. So typically, honestly, as a trainer, right, or as a money coach or as a mentor or whatever, right, you're trying to create accountability, right? And you're really not trying to create accountability from me to you. You're trying to create accountability for that person to themselves, right? And so by doing that, the last thing you want to do is say, hey, you're wrong. You need to do right. Like, you might be right in saying that, but it's, hey, this is where you are right now. I know this is where you want to be. So these are some of the steps you need to take to get there. Right? Let's start with step one. Step one really might be like, yo, your diet is trash and you need to change it up. But step one, the productive way, my mindset way might be, hey, let's take what you have right now. Let's not go try to waste $200 on, I want to do this clean juice diet, detox, whatever. And I'm not knocking that stuff, but let's not try to pick up this whole new way of life tomorrow that we're probably not going to be consistent with. Let's take what you have in your pantry right now and let's optimize that. And eventually you'll be like, man, I actually don't even need these chips. I actually do want something else, or I actually probably do need to get more protein in, right? But just start where you are, work with what you have. And I think that's what we all have to remind ourselves to do. We see so many people in different places, but we don't know where they started. We don't really know what they had to work with. We just see that end result. And that's all we're doing. Social media, everything, we're looking at the end result of people. We're looking at a somewhat finished product to us to that point, to that day. But we don't really know what had to be developed to get there. And so we want their finished product, but we don't want their journey and their process. Right.
That's
and so that's just like, start with what you have, which everybody does. You're in your debt-free journey. You feel like you're deep in debt. Start what you have. I tell people when I do my money coaching sessions that, I typically guarantee I can find at least about $200 worth of disposable income, at least.
Yep.
Now, it might be a little painful, but I can find easily about $200 a month of disposable income. So you keep saying that you don't have money to invest, we can find it. You don't have money to save, I bet you we can find it. And not by changing, but by improving your decision-making when you use your money. So,
yeah. All right. Yeah. You own it, because I just had a client that said that they can't afford that car anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? And so we went through the numbers and I just laid out the numbers. I didn't say anything. And they realized that I was like, well, you have about $1,200 just floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
You didn't list it here on your budget. And I added in additional $400 for food. I'm like, yeah, just one person. And on top of that, I threw in there, I was like, well, maybe you might be throwing in some gas. I was like, all right, here's another $200. But you still got $1,200 just sitting around. What happened? And then they come back to me the next day. It was like, yeah, it was Grubhub and eating out and everything like that. And I was like, well, that's $1,200 right now.
Right.
On top of everything else that I was giving them suggestions to change their whole budget. And when they were able to look at it, I freed up about $250, almost $300 just on the rip. Yeah.
Because I automatically do, when you do monthly stuff, I automatically do 12 times 12 in my head just to start out, right? You know what I mean? Like, I automatically do times 12, right? Because when you give that small to big picture, it's like, oh, snap. So I've been wasting 12 bands this whole year. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but you're only looking at it day to day. And that again goes back to, you said, my 3 principles.
Yep.
Your planning and your map. That tells you all of that. And when you don't follow that, you cannot do any of that other stuff, you know? So I won't rant, but I'm just very passionate about that. Like, I know people hate the budget word, so now I have to use like your financial map, your financial plan. But at the end of the day, it's a budget. All of the biggest, most successful companies, Apple, Microsoft, whatever company you can think of that you're listening to right now that you love, that you like, Amazon, they have to have a budget, one, for legal purposes, but two, how are they going to determine their budgets are like 5, 10, 15-year outlook type thing. So if you mean to tell me an entity like that has a base budget where they, liabilities, income, revenue, even just the base stuff, money in, money out. Let's just talk about money in, money out. They have that at the base level. Why shouldn't you? You're a business. You are a business, even if you're not an LLC, whatever. Your house, you as a person, you're an entity. You are a business. So you should conduct yourself as so, and you're going to benefit even more by doing that,
Nice. All right. I
know.
Well, we can keep going.
I know we can, but yeah, we're good.
Let's go to these final 4 questions.
Cool.
All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. What does wealth mean to you?
Man, so wealth means to me, obviously freedom, time freedom, the ability to empower and impact others, because money is a tool, right? So having efficient wealth allows me to be free with my time, which allows me to spend time with my family, do things that I enjoy doing. I'm in control of my time. And it also allows me to empower and impact other people because it gives me resources to be able to reach people that I may not be able to reach without it, or to be able to provide things that benefit other people's lives that might be less fortunate or that might need that assistance. So that's what wealth looks like to me. And then the third thing, of course, is wealth looks like leaving a legacy, right? Not, he has so much money, but empower and impact in a sense of my name has value to it because of the wealth I built years later down the line and years after I'm gone, right? I want my last name to be tied to wealth, and not just a sense of money and dollars, definitely money and dollars, but of value that it provides. And of course, health, all that stuff goes with that. All that stuff is an upward positive snowball effect, right? But wealth for me is time freedom, the ability to have empower and impact, and leaving legacy.
Nice. Number 2, what was your worst money mistake?
Man, my worst money mistake? Probably going to college and getting on loans. Let's get the elephant out of the room. No, I thoroughly enjoyed my college experience. It was worth it. It did set me up. I was blessed to get a job in my field. So, but anyway, not deflecting. The worst money, man. I was even looking at it. I was even thinking about that. Like, I've made some bad money decisions, so I'm just trying to think of like the worst.
The worst.
You know what I'll say? The worst.
What's that?
I say the worst is spending money on. I used to, like you said, cutting grass. So I've always been a grinder and a hustler. My dad I kind of got that budget ledger. Old people used to call it a ledger. No offense to our seasoned people, but when I used to cut grass, I used to cut all over the neighborhood, cut all over Charlotte, North Carolina. Once I got my little pickup truck, that was my first car. I always had clients everywhere, right? I would use my money to buy Jordans, clothes, stuff like that. And to this day, I'm humbled by that because one, I was blessed to be able to do that and have that independence. But two, I really wish that it's not one thing. I really wish that I would have just saved more money and invested it, right? Everybody should have, could have wishes that, right? But I just wish there are times where I'm like, I just wish. Was it worth it? It was not. It wasn't worth it. I'm just gonna say, in hindsight, it wasn't worth it. So I just wish over time, growing up, I was a little more strategic with the disposable, non-taxed, under the table money I was getting, and even just took 10% of it and enjoyed myself and took the rest and invested it. I don't even want to think about where I'd be today. So let's go into the next question, man.
Number 3, what is your favorite financial or non-financial book?
Woo! I'm gonna give you guys 2. I'm actually finishing up right now Essentialism by Greg McKeown. That's a non-financial book, but it's a mindset book. And Essentialism is literally about talking about focusing on doing the essential things, learning to be comfortable, with saying no so that you can say yes to the right things. And that also has helped me because I have a huge niche down problem because I want to do everything at one time. And sometimes that hinders your progress. No, it's not sometimes. A lot of times it hinders your progress. So that's a great mindset book. A ton. And then, but I would say Think and Grow Rich. A lot of people. So that's another financial one that's a financial one that, yeah.
Now, which one now? Because there's two of them.
Which one is it I just read? So there's is that the Napoleon? Is that the Napoleon Hill?
Napoleon Hill. Yep.
Yes, that one. Yes. Yep, you got it. And I don't know what version of cover I got. But yeah, and Rich Dad Poor Dad was good too. Yeah, and mine's green. I got like that one, but like mine's green. Like
green with this.
Yeah, like man. But yeah, no, Think and Grow Rich was good. I know you only asked for one or two, but the Kiyosaki, I am a Kiyosaki fan from a principle standpoint. So a lot of people Rich Dad Poor Dad, but Cash Flow Quadrant is actually my favorite because Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki is the blueprint and the practical steps to applying the principles he talks about in Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I really love the concept. I think I was listening to it on YouTube, just the audio version. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really good book. All right, last question. Well, question number 4. What is your favorite dish to make?
Ooh, to make? I'm a surf and turf guy. So I like to make a good steak, preferably grilled or in cast iron. And that's the country boy in me. And any type of surf with that shrimp, crab legs, whatever. Like I'm a big steak and shrimp type of guy, so I do like to make that.
Alrighty.
Get me hungry, man. I'm on prep. I ain't eating that kind of stuff right now. So that's why I was like, what you want me to name? I was about to name donuts. I don't even making up donuts.
Man, when I find out, like, I want to learn how to make cronuts, but I just buy them. Them joints are the devil's treat. I mean, it's so.
That's why you don't need to make them. Oh man!
All right. So the last question here of the whole thing is, where could people actually find out more about you? Yeah.
So of course, Instagram, King Bear 100. The O's are the letter O. King Bear 100 on Instagram. Also the same on TikTok, King Bear 100. King Bear 100 with the number. So 100 just like the number.com, kingbear100.com. That's my business brand site. That's where you can find the apparel, Relentless Grind, Motivation, Genuine Energy. That's my apparel line is Relentless Grind is my motto. But that's where you can find information on the vending courses. That's where you can actually sign up for Money Mindset and Money Beast Coaching, my Money Beast Coaching group. And we can also talk about vending and stuff as well. So that's where you can kind of find the source of me and everything. But King Bear 100 on Instagram is where I'm the most active. YouTube, I have some accountability to start launching that back up now. That's King Bear as well, King Bear 100 as well. But mainly on Instagram, King Bear 100, and on my site, www.kingbear100.com.
Awesome. And can you just say a little bit about where did the name come from anyway?
Yeah. So Bear is a nickname that I got from high school sports, and it just kind of stuck with me, kind of became a household name playing football. And then just the King piece just comes from, just kingship, right? Just that standard, that mindset, that mentality, and not a mindset of being over others, but a mindset of, I feel like true leaders should be servants first, and the real leaders are able to serve, but also able to lead. So I just kind of like put those together, man, like King Bear. And so that just became the brand. That became the name. Like a lot of people don't know Darius. A lot of people know Bear because, that's just how it is. So he's like, Darius, who is that? You know what I mean? But, from a more corporate formal standpoint, Darius. But yeah, that's where the name came from, man. And it's just been dope to have, a brand that truly like represents me and who I am and what I try to put out to everyone else.
Awesome. All right, Darius, thank you so much again for being on the show. Or shall I say bear?
Whatever. Yeah, you good, man. You're good.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me, man. I love what you're doing. Continue to keep up your movement, man. Don't slow down at all. What you're doing is amazing. And again, I'm honored to be on, and I hope that somebody was able to take something valuable from what we talked today. I definitely did. So I appreciate the accountability and the gems and just the energy as well. So keep doing what you're doing, man. I look forward to following your journey.
Thank you so much, sir. And I did subscribe to your show. So, we got you up to 32 subscribers now. And, we're going to keep you going. We all got to start somewhere.
I actually got to post something, but you already gave me some game. So I'm on it, man.
All right. Awesome. All right, everybody. Y'all be safe. I'm out.
All right, man.
Peace.
Thanks.
All right.